James Webb is the biggest telescope ever. No, it's not. Many telescopes are bigger than James Webb. The biggest ever telescope is LBT or Large Binocular Telescope. Though a new telescope is very soon going to break the record and become the biggest one, it is the extremely large telescope. The size of telescopes does not end here. But the thing that matters more is in which purpose they are made. Most telescopes are made for capturing different wavelengths of light. Take FAST or the 500-meter aperture spherical radio telescope for example. It is a radio telescope, so obviously it captures the longer wavelengths of light. It observes at wavelengths from 10 cm to 4.3 meter. Some of the best telescopes including Hubble have a mirror of that size, or 2.4 meters. In that place, the James Webb telescope captures infrared light. That was about ground-based telescopes, but what about the space-based telescopes? Well, here also James Webb is not the bigger. James Webb is about the same size as Hubble, but the thing that makes it better is its weight. Hubble and James Webb both are the size of a school bus, but Webb weighs much less than Hubble. James Webb will live as long as Hubble. Every decision we make in astronomy or in our lives has its consequences. A mistake by a tenth of a hair can cause a catastrophic disaster. But Webb has even bigger problems. When Hubble was launched, its mirrors were not perfect. So soon after launching Hubble, astronauts had to go and manually fix Hubble. James Webb's location in Lagrange 2 point, which is about 1 million miles away from Earth, makes it nearly impossible to manually fix. That means scientists have to be sure about every possibility and only then launch it to the space. James Webb's orbit around the L2 point, even though it's an unstable equilibrium, only needs a course and attitude correction on timescale of just over 3 weeks, minimizing the amount of fuel needed to maintain its orbit. But still, Webb was only designed for a primary 5-year mission, with hopes that it might wind up lasting for 10 years or slightly over if we get very lucky. Webb cannot be refueled, repaired or upgraded in any way. Whatever is on the board at the time it's launched is what will be stocked for as long as it remains operational. Compare that with Hubble, which was designed for a 10-year mission. Many hoped it would last for 15 or more. Is still going strong after 31 years, only because it has been upgraded and repaired 4 times. No planned spacecraft through 2030 will have the capacity to reach L2, not even Artemis. Though NASA scientists will find a way to make it work for longer periods, but it will never be as long as Hubble. James Webb is better than Hubble. This one is probably the most misunderstood. Remember, James Webb is not Hubble's replacement. It can never be. James Webb and Hubble are designed for different purposes and they observe in different wavelengths of light. Though Webb has a bigger mirror and collects 6.25 times more light. Hubble watches the space in UV and visible light, while James Webb will be using infrared. We also should remember that Hubble is 31 years old and uses technology that was made many years ago. Though the last time it was upgraded was in 2009. And if there is something wrong with Hubble again, astronauts can visit Hubble and try to fix it, unlike Webb. So if they're made for different purposes, how can one be better than the other? James Webb is the predecessor of Hubble, not the replacement. Webb is the first telescope at L2. Now, this one may not be just a misconception. Let me break it to you. James Webb is not the first object sent by humans to Lagrange point 2. It is not even the first telescope. You must have seen this picture. This is a scan of the universe and called the Cosmic Microwave Background Radiation. This was done by Wilkinson Microwave Anisotropy Probe. This was a NASA spacecraft that was sent to the same L2 point in 2001 and was decommissioned in 2010. That probe has given us data from before the dark age of the universe. Even James Webb cannot do that. though later it was moved from L2 so it does not pose any damage to future missions. But ESA's Herschel Space Observatory was literally the smaller version of James Webb that was placed at the same position where James Webb will be. Though it was operational for just 4 years. More spacecrafts including ESA's Planck, NASA's WIND and CNS's Chang'e 2 was operational in the Lagrange point too. Nearly all of them were later relocated. In future, the predecessor of James Webb, Nancy Grace Roman Telescope and ESA's Euclid and countless more telescopes will be sent to Lagrange point 2. Fun fact: if there was a bumblebee on the moon, then James Webb can detect its heat signals from Earth. Here are 8 more things you didn't know about James Webb.